Also, I mean, like, does filler, we've talked about this before too, does filler always have to be bad? I mean, okay, well, let's be clear. The term filler is a negative kind of term, right? It makes it sound like it's something that's there without purpose. People talk about purposeful filler, but I would say at that point, if it's purposeful, then it's not filler per se. But exposition and those little kind of side stories or pauses in the forward momentum of a story to fill us in on backstory that might be relevant doesn't have to be terrible, right? I mean, do you guys have any examples that you can think of a time when a story took a break from kind of the main line of what it was doing to fill in a character that you hadn't thought about before and you thought and enhanced your enjoyment of the series?
So I kind of want to pull back to what Megan was saying about Sailor Moon. I know people are tired of talking about Sailor Moon, but the 90s anime just was, like we were saying, so much filler. Like if you look at it compared to the manga, like they're almost completely different stories in a way.
Yeah.
But for like one of the best reasons, like even though you got a little tired with some episodes, like the Monster of the Week, I forget which season particularly was like really bad about that. But a lot of those Monsters of the Week really helped flesh out the characters. Like you really got to know this other Sailor Senshi, whereas in the new ones, like they're just background noise. Like Sailor Moon is
the
like
manga almost exactly, but the problem with that is that you feel you don't know them as well. Like
right.
You feel like, I'm just going to use their American names because I can't remember their Japanese names, but like Molly and Melvin, like they'd have episodes dedicated to them, and you feel like Usagi really was their friend because you actually saw them in episodes that sort of starred them, and so you feel like you knew more about the characters and world, even though it had nothing to do with the story, really.
Yeah, and so I think that's kind of like nice when you can utilize filler to create a better world. It's just sad whenever we get that filler that is just meaningless. It's like you should really we really hope that they could take that moment to really do something productive with the series, or at least, usually they're just like kind of fun episodes, or like if it's I think the biggest problem is when you get whole filler arcs. Like you Moonlight Knight. It's Sailor Moon.
If you didn't hear me cringe, or maybe you did, but I just cringed.
Like there's like that stuff. I remember there were a few in Bleach. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm sorry. I should have looked it up before. I think there were some that just weren't good. And I think I've read online. It's like I haven't read the Kekai Sensen manga yet, but I think one of the biggest arcs in the anime that we're watching right now isn't even in the manga. And it's like probably the most intriguing thing for me about Kekai Sensen, and it's just like I don't want to say what it is in case I'm wrong, or if it's like a spoiler kind of thing. But it's just like really interesting how sometimes just like filler and just kind of creating your own thing and kind of branching away from the source material can create really awesome extra like world development and just make you care more about the series.
Yeah. Sure, and about individual characters, like Naruto certainly is. Not short on nonsense filler that I can't stand. It certainly was. It's got plenty of that, but not all of it is like that, right? I mean, there's at a pivotal point in the story, they take a whole episode, maybe even two, to look into Gaara's backstory, and that's a character that's beloved now, and people genuinely gravitate towards, not just because of how immensely powerful and cool he is, but because they know about his history with his mother, and they know about the hardships that he faced as a child. And when you tell that stuff, kind of artfully and purposefully, and it's not just squeezed between developments in other storylines within an episode. When you really take the time to focus on it and make an episode about it that's well thought out and well crafted, then you end up with something that really enriches the universe in which the story takes place. Like I said, Naruto certainly had no shortage of bad filler, but that for me is an example of enriching our understanding of the universe and why character X matters to character Y, and why we should care about them.
I think it's funny that you can just look up blah 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 filler arcs, and then like they'll have entire guides and it's like skip these episodes, skip this episode, skip this entire chunk. I found the Bleach guide, and the first one's like main arc, Soul Society arc, watch 1 through 32, skip 33, pick up at 34 for 49, skip 50, pick up at 51 to 63, skip bound filler arc. It's like, geez.
Wow.
It's like just so much. It's like pick up at 651 to 63. So that's the end of the Soul Society arc, and then you don't pick up again until 110.
Yeah. That's what I was
That's
saying.
like
That's
such
what
a
I was saying
big
before
thing.
when you said how much Bleach you watched. I'm like, past the Soul Society arc?
So thank you.
I don't know.
My anime list forums how to watch Bleach without filler.
And to
So
be
that's
fair, this isn't
where
just a
that came from.
shonen problem. Like I
Yeah.
just watched a couple of episodes of Psychopaths, and it felt a little like filler just because it didn't progress anyone's story arc in particular. So it's not just like, we're not trying to say only shonen does this or only shoujo does this. I mean,
Right.
I think every show has a little bit of that, but it is one of those things where, depending on what's going on, it either enriches the world or it just
Hanks your interest in it.
Yeah. So
Boom.
curious to know what you guys think, our listeners, watchers, audience, friends,
Countrymen.
countrymen. Yeah.
People
so
of Earth.
what have you guys seen any filler arcs that people thought were like atrocious, but you really liked? Or what's
Oh.
like because it's like
guilty
curious.
pleasure
Like
arcs.
there's some like Bleach arcs that I just really liked. Like I thought it was cool. But just like let us know, what do you guys think about filler? I'm pretty sure mostly negative, understandable, but
Let us know.
yeah, let us know what's going down.